Welcome to Curio Flux. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating, and let's be honest, often infuriating world of the internet troll. Why do they seem to love chaos so much? Is it really all just for a laugh? Or is there something more? Maybe even a science behind it all? Let's get into it.
I mean, let's face it, if you've spent any time online, the answer is almost certainly yes. In a comment section, a forum, or especially in an online game, we've all run into that one person whose entire mission for the day seems to be to ruin yours. It's a universal online experience. But what's really going on there? This quote from a pretty notorious troll seems to sum it up, right? Fun, fame, simple. But is it really that simple? Fun can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Today, we're going to unpack the actual science behind that so-called fun.
Okay, so to really understand the troll, we have to do the unthinkable. We have to get inside their head. What makes a person wake up, log on, and decide that, causing absolute mayhem is the best use of their time? Well, psychologists actually have some pretty compelling answers.
It all starts with something psychologist John Suler called the online disinhibition effect. The best way to think about it is like a digital invisibility cloak. Behind a screen, all those social rules that stop you from, say, screaming at a stranger in the grocery store, well, they suddenly feel a lot less important. That anonymity becomes a mask.
And this effect gets supercharged by a few key things. You've got anonymity. You don't know me, so who cares? You've got invisibility. You can't see the hurt on my face. And you can just drop a nasty comment and walk away. No immediate comeback. It's a recipe that creates this little bubble where some of our worst impulses can just run wild. But, the environment is only half the story. Research shows that a lot of trolls aren't just regular people having a bad day. They often have a specific cluster of personality traits known as the dark tetrad. It sounds intense, and, well, it is. Think of it as the villain's starter pack of psychological traits. So you have Machiavellianism, being manipulative, narcissism, thinking you're the center of the universe, psychopathy, a real lack of empathy, but the one trait that pops up in every single study, the one that is the strongest predictor of all, it's sadism. The genuine, actual enjoyment they get from watching other people suffer. Researchers literally call trolling the internet manifestation of everyday sadism. For them, your frustration isn't a side effect, it is the reward.
So, let's say you've got this personality profile, and you're hanging out in the anonymous playground of the internet. Where are you gonna go? For so many, the answer is obvious. Online gaming. It's competitive, it's high stakes, it's anonymous, and it's super emotionally charged. It is the perfect petri dish for trolling to grow.
And the numbers, they're just staggering. Get this, according to the Anti-Defamation League, 86% of adult online gamers have experienced some form of harassment. That's not a small minority, that's nearly everyone. This isn't just a niche problem. For most players, it's a fundamental part of the online gaming experience. And you can see this problem is really concentrated in certain places. Games like Dota 2, Call of Duty, and Valorant consistently top the charts for toxicity. And it makes sense, right? They're all incredibly competitive, high-stakes games where emotions run hot, which makes them prime hunting grounds for people who feed on that negativity. Trolling isn't just some random annoying background noise. It has a history. It has legendary stories that have become part of gaming folklore. So let's take a little walk through the Hall of Infamy and look at a couple of the most notorious examples. Okay, picture this. It's 2006 in World of Warcraft. A player passes away in real life, and her friends decide to honor her by holding an in-game funeral. They're all gathered, unarmed, to pay their respects. But a rival guild called Serenity Now saw the public announcement, and they ambushed it. They slaughtered the mourners, recorded the whole thing, and posted it online like a trophy. The community backlash was absolutely massive. And when the guild leader was asked why on earth they would do something so horrible, his answer was chillingly simple. Sırf eğlence diye, which means just for the fun of it. This wasn't about some in-game rivalry. This connects right back to that key ingredient we talked about, sadism. The fun was the pain they caused.
But then you have a more modern and way more complicated example, the streamer Tyler 1. He was once known as the single most toxic player in League of Legends, so disruptive that Riot Games gave him a rare, indefinite ban. But after years away, a public apology, and a promise to reform, they lifted the ban. And his return stream? It shattered Twitch viewership records. His story brings up this wild question. Can a troll actually be redeemed?
Or is the fame the real prize?
So, with trolls being such a constant headache, you have to wonder, what are game developers actually doing to fight back? It's become this huge ongoing arms race between the companies and the trolls. But is it a war they can even win?
The arsenal is pretty diverse. You've got everything from community-run justice systems to some pretty clever matchmaking that basically puts all the toxic players in their own little sandbox to play with each other. And of course, there are high-tech solutions like AI that listens to voice chat and scans text for abusive language.
But here's the catch. Fighting trolls is like a never-ending game of whack-a-mole. You solve one problem and they just find a new way to cause trouble. A perfect example is when Valorant banned 4-person groups from ranked matches to protect solo players. What happened? A lot of those groups just took their toxic behavior over to unranked games, ruining the fun for more casual players. Every solution seems to create a new loophole.
So if we boil this all down, what's the big takeaway? Trolling isn't random anger. It's a perfect storm. It requires 3 very specific ingredients: a person with those dark tetrad traits, an anonymous environment that removes all the usual consequences, and that simple, powerful motivation, the genuine pleasure they get from creating chaos.
And all this leaves us with a really big question for the future. We're not getting rid of the internet, and we're definitely not getting rid of anonymity. So the real challenge isn't about eliminating trolls completely. It's about this. How do we build online communities that aren't just constantly reacting, but are actually resilient to the people lurking in the shadows, the ones who get their fun from someone else's pain? That's the puzzle we all have to figure out.